Hello everybody, Neon here from A Space Games. I am excited to bring to you some Underlords, Dota Underlords content. This is a game that was just released yesterday as of the time that I'm recording this, and I wanted to do a little bit of content for it to see if people like it. This video is going to be like an absolute beginner, like first game kind of experience, and to help you understand sort of what is happening. I am playing against mono computers right now. I have the turn setting on right now, which means that I can control when I go forward and backwards. But let's start going off some of the basic decisions. I am going to be doing a video that's released hopefully later today that is actually going over the rules of it, but that's going to take a little bit longer to kind of put together all of the details of it. But so I wanted to do this one. One little note is that we do have a little glitch in like the first turn of the game here. I had to like exit out the game and return. It was this weird thing. But you'll see that. We'll just skip over that here. So you'll see that my first unit that I got here was actually a Drow Ranger. There was a reason that I really like her as a starting unit. She pairs so well with Pudge specifically. He is a messed up guy early on, and that you can pair with him. Then you have the tankiness of Pudge and the damage of Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger also goes really well into Hunters, which is very good in this game. I think it's much better and much easier to put together compared to what it was in DOTA Auto Chess. Drow Ranger, also her ability is she allows the units that are adjacent to her to have bonus attack speed. So she pairs really well with like whatever you want to have in the backline. I just got a Clockwork here for tankiness. Like this is a unit that I am not expecting to keep, given how things are working out so far. But we'll end up seeing how it works out. Put the Blightstone on the Drow Ranger, enhance that attack. And now Beastmaster here is a pretty obvious pickup, and then because he is also a hunter, but then he pairs really well with Juggernaut as well. So this is actually already an amazing start here, because both of them are brawny units, which means that they both now have really high health, and I only need one more hunter because the Beastmaster is a hunter as well as the Drow Ranger, and then I get the hunter bonus as well. So I am like already actually on an incredibly good start for this game. Like, obviously I'm against NPCs, and they are pretty bad at the game. But if this was a game in like my start in a normal game, I would be just like exceptionally happy and think that I would be probably a favorite to finish in the top couple slots already. Because basically now, like this composition here could carry me for a good long while. And then I get both a Pudge and a Sniper. So this is going like totally off the rails levels of amazing. Both of these guys pair incredibly well with the Drow Ranger, who is a fantastic guy to begin with, a girl rather to begin with. I'm kind of like debating what to do here. Because I need that extra gold. So I just still had to sell the Clockwork. He was somebody who's like, he's a good starting unit. Don't get me wrong. Now I actually kind of have like this like question of like, what do I want my composition to actually look like? Because there's like 3 or 4 different ways that I could set it up that are all fucking nutty good. I end up going for the max damage build, I believe, is how I would describe it for it, that I just have all hunters and allows me to just burst down my opponent's shit. Like, look at how fast that guy died. Just did nothing. Absolutely got crushed. My Beastmaster is over half health, and their entire team is dead. Start up my win streak. So for here, there's going to be a little bit of a slow down for things, because I kind of have to like wait for some critical points as to what I pick up here. But definitely having a good start. Like I have like my 4 units right now, so now I can kind of get more of my combinations online. I usually end up going all the way to 5. So now all of my combos are online. I have the Brawny combo, I have the Undead combo, I have the Hunter combo. Like that's a lot of synergies for early on. Plus I have the 2 cost unit and 1 3 cost unit as part of my lineup, and then Drow Ranger. Ooh, I think that she's basically as good as it too. Like she is really good, so she'll be around basically the entire game as a result of that. She is in a lot of lineups. But yeah, so Ellen bought it. That's why I ended up leveling up as well, just because I wanted the extra slot in order to do that. But already I'm kind of like deciding like I am going to start slowing down now. because I'm pretty confident I can just ride this lineup forever. Obviously not forever, but for a while. So we'll just do a little bit of skipping here. So we're up to round 7 right now. We had a couple of great rolls. We have an Abaddon and another Pudge. So we have another question in terms of like what we're going to do with our lineup. We decided to substitute the Pudge for the Abaddon. This allows me to have he's a bit tankier than Pudge, not a lot more. Like Pudge is really tanky boy, don't get me wrong. But this is a slightly tankier matchup, but still have that undead bonus. I'm expecting probably to level up pretty soon in order to put one of those Pudges back into the lineup. So he's not going to be gone for long, but he's one that I know is going to be a frontliner in my final composition, most likely, unless something very weird goes on. And I'm actually swapping him out for the Juggernaut, because the Juggernaut also is one that I'm like, I don't think he's going to make it. Pick up another Beastmaster, and then we are going to... actually, we should probably end up using the experience right here, but obviously I'm not playing like right now. I also just doing this as a recording. I picked up the Luna as well. Instead, that makes sense actually, because she is a hunter in addition. It's so hard to like know how to, like, when your lineup is so good and you have so few slots, it's actually kind of hard to figure out how to line it up best. But I'm going to be leveling up next turn after the next battle in order to make room for all my sweet shit. So we are a little while later. Actually didn't end up leveling up, just kind of playing it slow. We got a couple of sick little hunters here to get into the mix. Like, both of those are probably going to make it into the final composition. Going to end up swapping out the undead there, the Drow Ranger, that's of course her name, versus for the Wind Ranger. Like, this is still like the same problems of just too good stuff to fit into the lineup. Like too much amazing stuff to do. One also synergy I didn't mention before is Abaddon plus Luna. They're both knights. So this is a great way to get that extra tankiness as well, which is what you always want in your hunter-heavy lineups. Like, you really want that front line to be like really sturdy. They need to do no damage for you. You're fine. They just need a tank, which is why like Abaddon and Pudge are great for that. So I just want trying to line things up properly here so that Abaddon is on the front line, Luna is behind her. And then we have, just going to end up selling the Juggernaut because he is clearly just like not working out. For us, we want to get up to that 20 gold interest break point and then move on to our battle against the Mud Golems. You can also see that Knight bonus is active here with the little gold icons that circle around Abaddon and Luna, which is good to know. And then it gives you a bit more information of like what you need to do with your positioning too. I like that. It's a nice little quality of life improvement. I'm going to go for the Octarine Essence here. None of those are particularly exceptional in our lineup because we're not really cooldown driven. I think that probably is better to put that on the Sniper, to be honest. I'm not really sure though, because both of them are not really like cooldown specific units. So we skipped ahead a couple of rounds, just setting up a few more synergy and stuff. I'm just kind of like talking right now a little bit about like that was what we've seen so far is the early game, right? We made it through those early runs to kind of like found our composition. It's like usually what I think is the most important to do within those first like 10 to 15 rounds is to kind of say like, okay, these are the features of my lineup and what it's going to look like, at least as a base, or some of the components of the lineup. We did settle onto something though, that this is a very good composition that, and part of the reason I like it, that goes like well early and goes well late, where you want to pair hunters with undead, and which just lets for like huge physical damage, and then you pair it with some other race that allows you to do frontlining, usually involving undead with Pudge as a key component of that, or Abaddon, or both. And in this case, we also got both, and we also ended up deciding on that. Like, it just ends up being like this whole thing that fits together really, really well, and allows us to set up a really good synergy. Now, we are, of course, making some decisions around what we're doing with our money as well. We have a very, very, we have a ton of gold already. We have 70 gold sitting in the bank. which is great. This allows us to sort of like move up into those like higher experience levels. We're going to be focusing right now on just power leveling over the next little while. This fight we actually almost lost. I was surprised by this, and I guess that also just like relates to how bad the opponents are, and I haven't been paying attention to that exactly. So yeah, we barely make it on this one, but Beastmaster carried us, which was great. One thing I just like remembered too is that I was kind of treating Luna this entire time as a hunter, but she isn't. So that was very smart of me. She is a knight, of course. But yeah, so Vanguard is going to be the choice here. It allows us to improve the tankiness of one of our units, so I'm going to put that onto the that little friend. None of these are, other than like Pudges, obviously. It should be noted that like I have not rerolled once this game so far. I just spent my money to go up to that the next level, like the level 7. What I don't actually know how it works in terms of like the roll quality. I'm hoping that how it works is that I get the experience, and then it gives me the roll right afterwards. I think that's how it works. It would work. That's how it works in the early game. That makes sense. But yeah, so like I'm already kind of thinking about what my composition is going to look like moving into the late game. Some of the ones that I have my eye on, like Hunters is a composition that works really well there. You want to look for things like Naga and Tide Hunter are great ones. I'm pairing, of course, with the Knights as the defensive element of the lineup. But I'm just like thinking about how do I have those synergies for it. Medusa is another really important element. She just is the huge damage dealer, and then Tidehunter is as the stun for it, and all together that'll fit really well together. Moving into that, like this is part of the reason why I think that this strategy is so natural and so easy to execute. There's just very clear signposts along the way, and the units are just individually very powerful. One of the other ones I took as a bit of a side route is picking up the Kunkka. He is so good. This is one of the units that I think is most likely to be nerfed in the upcoming balance patches, which we're going to get sooner or later. He has been one of the biggest performers for so far. Usually, if my lineup is going well, I try to avoid putting 1-star units into my lineup like when they're fresh, unless they have very powerful synergies. Kunkka is an exception. He is that good. So we are going to just kind of make some decisions right now. Pudge is yelling to be put in, so is Drow Ranger. Just making, the Drow Ranger is obviously correct. I'm just doing the positioning on it because I want to make sure of it. Try to maximize that extra attack speed bonus. And we still have that 50 gold, so we are getting that sick interest. And you'll notice that I have just been getting that sick interest, just basically being for like a number of rounds now. If you'd be interested to calculate it all up, I think that it was got to be a better part of 100 gold that I got over it. 10 rounds, but really better part of 100 gold for it. But we are going to now focus on leveling, try to get up to that level 10 so that we maximize our chances of getting that Dusa and Tidehunter at the end there. But until then, I am going to just do a little bit of skipping because it's basically just farming for the next little bit. So this is the next decision point. This is when I decide to level up so that I am going to hit level 9 next turn, still maintaining that 50 gold. Everything's working out super well going into this neutral camp here. Once again, not particularly worried about this. Should be able to absolutely ruin them. Like, you get a sense of the power level of your lineup relative to what you're used to in like similar situations, and in this one I knew that it was going to be really easy to take this guy on, given the fact that it's only level 20. I ended up going for a Vicious Intent here as the perk. This gives me extra ability to close out the game, which, especially in this kind of position, is a really good perk, because what you want to do is put your opponents right now under a lot of pressure. Maybe you want some of your opponents, like I know that right now my lineup is very strong. It feels strong. I'm winning a lot. I'm uncontested. I mean, obviously, I'm not expecting to my opponents are very dumb, so it's only they have a plan to get back into the game exactly. So but I know that I am winning my other battles that are happening on my opponent's boards. So getting something like Vicious Intent here allows me to actually close up the game. So if you didn't read what it said earlier, then this is the perk that whenever I win a battle on one of the other boards when my army is facing off against an opponent, if I win, each of my units deals an extra damage. And I kind of want to do is like push them out of the game. So that they don't have any more time to scale or assemble their synergies. I'm going to go back to kind of just farming though, set up for that level 10 very soon. It costs 50 gold to go all the way up to level 10, so I'm going to do that over the course of a couple of turns. This is, I don't actually know if there's like a max gold of 100. I haven't actually tried that, but I'm expecting that I should be able to get there within a couple of turns and maintain that 50 gold interest buffer. Especially like one of the things about the 50 gold buffer that's like so good is that when you have it, you can just like, unless you're like under pressure, just keep it forever. Or like you just kind of pretend as if 50 is your basement. And then if you have to like dip below that to purchase something, you can, but you can just like maintain it for such a long time. So that's a really big benefit. This is where I begin to start putting my gold in though, because I kind of realized like what I'm going to get over 100 and worried that might be a no-no. So I dump some of the gold. And actually I think that it lines up such that I am able to, it's like over the course of 2 turns here. So I get back 50. My 5 gold interest against Ginabot, who has taken a licking here. See, like Salbot here just took a 22 damage from my army. And when I was defeated, but they're also leveling up really quickly too. It seems like the AI value is leveling up really fast. So there's a bunch of level 10s here, and they kind of shouldn't be level 10 at this point. It's very premature. I guess that since I haven't been pressuring them, they haven't been pressuring me as much. But I haven't. Anyway, I'm not sure. They're not pressuring each other. We will see. But I'm going to go up to level 10 at this point. And we already are rewarded with Gyro. He does pair reasonably well with the... I didn't end up taking him. That's very stupid. I should definitely have taken him. DOTA, though, is one of the ones that I really need more. So the ones that I'm looking for, basically, I'm going to some additional damage dealers. I don't have any quite yet. I actually ended up going for this Gyro, though. Yeah, okay. I should have taken the earlier one. That was just wrong. But DOTA is one that I want very badly. She is substantially different between this game compared to DOTA Auto Chess. She still does have the stun thing. I'm not exactly sure how it works. It's kind of strange in how it functions. But her main purpose is that she just split shots off. So she's kind of like an AoE thing, and it means that she pairs really well with any bonus damage effect like Daedalus here. So plus 80 attack damage, 30% chance of a crit. So she's going to be critting like crazy and going to be able to kill people very, very quickly. End up going for... Don't go for the techies either. I think I should have just been buying some of these 5s and then just kind of like seeing what happens. Especially given the fact that I'm still not under very much pressure. I should probably just like kind of pick up a couple random things. Don't necessarily put them into my lineup, but just kind of try them out to see if anything comes up in the course of the next couple of rounds, a couple of rolls. But we want to keep that 50 gold buffer up for a while still. But yeah, like this is part of the reason though, like I like Hunter so much, because it like works so well as a late game composition. I still get to play, like it pairs well with things like Pudge and Beastmaster, which are reasonable frontliners. You get just absolute all-stars like Medusa and Tidehunter as your big headliners for it, and then just the rest of your stuff is pretty high quality. Like, I mean, there's still like some weird shit going on in my lineup. Like I have a level 1 Drow Ranger, which I think is actually totally fine having the lineup still. She's that good, especially with the Hunter buff. I also have a Wind Ranger. I think that the Luna as I mentioned, I had kind of been confused as to what was Luna's types were in this game, but she should probably be substituted. I should definitely pick up the Marana here, by the way. This is one that I missed. But there's Kanka, there's Tidehunter. These are the ones I really wanted. And because now Kanka is one of the frontliners as well. He's a level 2, so he's gonna be able to hit people with that boat. Man, look at that damage of Medusa on the side. Jesus Christ, she fucks people up. So now she has the Dentalist and she's like level 2. Like, she is going to be like messing people up. So this is roughly what a late game lineup should kind of look like here. I hit this really early. I think that this is like more, I guess it's a little bit strange because it's not built out as much. Like the fact that I have a level 1 Drow Ranger and a level 1 Windrunner is kind of bizarre. But yeah, we're gonna skip through things a little bit. I'm just kind of reviewing the synergies here, but we'll skip forward. Oh, I actually just want to mention quickly that the magic resistance that you get from Tidehunter plus Medusa, like the fact that it's just 2 units, they're both into your late game lineup. They give you magic resistance, which you need a lot more in the late game because that's a big source of your damage. Like, it's so great to combine them, and hopefully we'll see the Ravage here, and you can see how effective it is in the game. Actually, I don't know if you see in this one because I just killed them so quickly. Just ruin their lives. Defeated by my army. Summonbot was defeated by my army. 28. Yeah, like I'm doing lots of damage to the opponents because it's just so much more powerful than them, and I really want that. And another big incentive too of powering up your army in these situations of like not just like dirtling too long. If you like, as you power up, you put even more pressure on like knocking out some of the weaker opponents. See double Necrophos here, by the way. This is a good opportunity then to scoop them up. Because I do have an undead lineup. This would be the 4th undead that would be part of my lineup, so that's pretty appealing for it. So I think that I ended up selling the Lunas for this. Yeah, I think that that's what I end up doing, but this is a pretty good call, I believe. Maybe I don't. That's just a mistake. That's another mistake. I should have that as one of my damage dealers, especially given the fact that Luna's trash at this point in the game. Yeah, that was certainly a mistake. Especially I would have just like, if I sell the 2 Lunas in my inventory, I actually say exactly 50 gold. Well, I'll get the Luna here, like, fine. But I'm not going to get to level 3. Like, getting to level... That's another thing that's really important in making decisions about your lineups, too, especially when you get to the late game, is, like, decide what is it that you're going to get a level 3 of. Like, is it possible, feasibly, like, even combine, like, is it a realistic chance that you get a level 3 of it? Get another Tidehunter. Exactly what we're looking for. I've also decided at this point that I'm going to just like spend down a lot so that I can kind of fix my inventory a little bit. It's a little bit crowded right now, and if I get a couple of specific upgrades, I can clean it up a lot. So I decided to just go off of interest at this point, buy up things like the Pudge and the Medusa, because I can just sell them back later on for it, and I'll decide kind of at the end after I go through. Oh, no, for the Medusa. I should have. Like, at this point, I should just be buying things and then selling things, because, especially since I'm on the untimed version of the untimed game, this is definitely correct. I think that I finally buy I buy this Medusa and I buy the Marana. Yeah, you can't buy it into the, I should have got the Marana. I've made a bunch of mistakes here. Pudge as well should be purchased. Yeah, now that this Pudge can be fit together, so now we have a level 3 Pudge that cleans up our bench a lot. That's one of the biggest things about getting to level 3 that's hard, is it's not just the fact that it takes a long time to find that many units of the same type, it's that you have to also, it takes up so much bench space. But yeah, this is kind of like something that, that was a little bit more even paced of a decisioning tree there, and that was kind of like my late game transition point, where I finally go off of interest. Andre's spot is at 100 gold. What on the face of the earth is going on there? Daedalus maybe isn't. I'm gonna need to double check if the maximum interest is. It definitely is, because I was going throughout the game with A lot more than that. What the fuck are these bots on? They are insane. DOTA here, but yeah, that was the late game transition period. Like that's usually the point where you spend a lot of your gold to kind of decide, like, okay, this is where I want to actually spend down and invest in my lineup. You should be doing that around the time that you hit level 10, though, especially if you are under some amount of pressure or your opponents are contesting you. And if you have like a bunch of easily upgradable stuff, like the fact that I have 2 Tide Hunter hits here means I should be spending aggressively in order to find Tide number 3. Do I finally buy this Marana? If I'm not, I am very dumb. Please do. Please do it. Thank the Lord. Yeah, I just like space. And the fact that, like, I was focusing on Luna as opposed to Marana, and had them mixed up as to what they were. Yeah, so I just passed over the Drow Ranger at that point. I've been making a bunch of mistakes here in my late game decision making, but I think that one was actually correct, because the chances of getting to a level 3 Drow are basically impossible. I think that a level 1 of it, like a specific level 1, is probably about as rare at this point as a specific level 4 or 5. Maybe, probably like about closer to 5 than it is to 4. Like, it is really hard to find specific ones. And so I'm just like not going to see them. But I am also, if you've been paying attention to what's been happening in the top there, I've been like messing up my opponents, and which was roughly what I would want and expect at this point in the game, given how powerful I am. I'm just spending down right now because I want to find that Tide. That's the only thing that matters to me at this point. I probably should have just like started selling shit in order to find it. Like sell the looters. The looters are doing nothing. Yeah, I definitely should have done that. Yeah, because level 2 Tide is just so good. Oh, they just killed them. Okay, great. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, well, that was how things worked out for this one. Hopefully that is a good introduction to playing the game and how things work out. I will have another primer, another intro video out very soon, so check that one out. If you don't know anything about Dota Auto Chess or any of these types of games, you'll get more information there from that. This is just one that I wanted to put out quickly so that you have a bit of content to get you started. But that was a good game. I think that this is a good way also to learn the game too, like just sign up for one of the games against the computer, go mono easy against them, and then you should be able to smoke them pretty easily, but it'll give you the time to read all of the different units and learn the different interactions, learn the tribes, etc. I went for a very easy to execute strategy there, but it's a good opportunity as well to try something that's a little bit more exotic. Like if you wanted to do, I don't know, trolls or 9 warriors or something like that, maybe you can find something that's a little bit more interesting. But like, yeah, the transition that I did of like hunters undead into hunters late game slash nagas is very, very good. And it's a good, if you want to get started in the game, this might be a good strategy to kind of force, because I think some people are also undervaluing it. It's hard to tell exactly how that rates into things. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you found it interesting. Be sure to let me know below what information you want about the game. If this is the kind of content you enjoy, if you like the game, and if you want, for instance, videos on things like itemization or how to build different tribes or how to manage decision making in different sections of the game, I would love to do all that kind of stuff in the near future. But that'll be it for me today. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.